So, hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Menopause Method. And here's the thing, this is not my first rodeo here at podcasting. And if you have ever started anything, a new diet, trying to create a new habit, maybe some kind of promise to yourself, only to fizzle out before you've completed it, you might know what I'm feeling right now. I've been there. I've started before, I've quit before, and for a long time, I use moments like that as proof that I wasn't enough, whatever enough that might have been at the time. So today, I'm going to tell you how I turned that story around and how you can too, and how it applies to you in your midlife now. So I am Connie, and I'm a woman's health, life, and nutrition coach. I work with women in perimenopause, postmenopause, to help them reduce symptoms, lose weight, and feel great without crazy diets, without one-size-fits-all plans, and without a lot of extreme exercise or crazy supplementing. Now, this podcast is going to be where we get real about what's changing in your body, what actually works now, and how to navigate this stage of life in a way that supports your health, your hormones, your happiness, your aging, all of it. So back when I first did my first podcast, it was about 3 years ago, and it was just me and my iPhone, right? No microphone, no plan, no schedule. And every single week, I scrambled for a topic. I wasn't planning ahead, so I was recording last minute. I was changing the date, the day the episode was coming out because I wasn't prepared on the actual day it was supposed to. And I'll be honest, I started to dread it. And if you know me at all, you know I have a lot to say. So the fact that I didn't have a lot to say is pretty crazy. But here's the thing. In my head, the soundtrack was going, see, you don't follow through with things. You're not organized enough. You're not good enough. You're not smart enough to do this. You're not cut out for this. And I'll be honest, my intention when I started it wasn't really because I was overflowing with things to say, which is what I feel like I am now. But I think there was a part of me that was looking for it to validate me, to prove that I was who I said I was, or something along those lines. But anyway, maybe you've done the same thing, maybe not with a podcast, but with diets, right? With exercise programs, with starting new morning routines, or even the way you respond to your family members or other people, right? And maybe when you didn't do it the way you wanted to do it, you created some kind of a story around it, a story about what it means about you. And here's the thing, our brains are meaning-making machines. And if they are left to their own devices, which they normally are, they will turn a simple missed workout into, I'll never lose weight. Or a skipped podcast into, I'm not cut out for this. I'm always going to be a failure. So for me, it really wasn't just about the podcast. It was about all the quitting, all the failing I had been stacking in my head for years. It was just piling up and piling up. And here's what I hear in a similar fashion from most of the menopause women that I work with, right? I can't stick to diets anymore. I don't have willpower anymore. I'm not someone who meal plans. I'm just lazy now. I don't know how to enjoy exercise. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And none of those things are actually who you are. It's just who you believe yourself to be. Just like when I thought to myself, I'm not cut out for this, that wasn't a fact. That was just something my brain was offering me. Why? To get me to quit, because that's what our brain does. But here's how I started to turn around. Luckily, I was already far into my coaching, so I started to use my own tools that I use with my clients on myself. But it didn't happen in one big breakthrough. We always want there to be this one monumentous thing, right? And then everything's easy after that. But it did start with one decision. And I had to stop. I recognized that I had to stop using my past as proof of who I was today, right now, and who I wanted to be in the future. And I had to start using today as a guide for who I wanted to be in the future, who I could become, what was possible for me. And it took a while. or as we all say, like our old habits die hard. Well, all the programming we all have in our brains, by the time we get to our 40s and 50s, it's had a lot of time to practice, and those neural pathways in there super well worn. So to form new ones, it takes time, and it takes practice, and it takes resilience to stick with it. But anyway, I digress. So instead of telling myself I'm not organized, I don't plan well, I don't like to plan, I started to say things to myself like, if I was organized, what would I do? If I was going to try to be someone who plans, what might I do? And instead of saying, I never follow through, I quit, I asked myself, what's one small thing I could actually finish today? And I still do that now. But these small shifts, they stack up and they stack up. And instead of the evidence of failure being the big driving factor, right? These small shifts, the evidence that I can change, that I can do this, starts to stack up. And little by little, I began to see myself differently. Not as someone who quits anymore, but as someone who learns and keeps going. Now, why does this all matter for you, my menopause ladies? Well, because this is a time, menopause is a time, it's a magnifier, right? The physical changes we know are incredibly real, but so is the way they intersect with your thoughts, with your beliefs, with your identity, and with your patterns of behaviors that you have been doing. If you have hated your body for decades, like I was definitely one of those women, menopause doesn't make that any easier. In fact, it makes it louder. And if you've been telling yourself for a lot of years, that was me too, that you're not enough in some way, those stories can feel even more true, and they can feel heavier now. So that's why in this podcast, I am not here just to talk about weight. I am not just here to talk about hormones. I am here to talk about life for women in their 40s and beyond, because there isn't one part of our life that doesn't come into play with menopause, with our hormones. It is everything. And the Menopause Method is my approach to weight, hormones, and life, from perimenopause all the way into post, right? It's not another plan. It's not a list of rules that you follow, but it is how you live your life, and recognizing that every single part of it plays a part. It's either going to be like helping to support your hormones or fueling the hormonal chaos that you've got going on. And this is whether you are in perimenopause or postmenopause, 40 or 50 or 60 years old, whether you're retired or still working full time, whether you've had children or you've never had children, whether you're single, whether you're married, whether you're remarried, whether you're on HRT, whether you're not, whether you're taking a ton of supplements or not. It's all about the things you will have to do regardless of all those other things to help yourself feel better, to see results, and to enjoy your life more, no matter where your starting point is, even if you feel like it's a million miles away right now. I want you to stick with me. This isn't going to be a diet podcast. It's not even going to be just a menopause podcast. Yes, we're going to talk about hormones, and we're going to talk about habits, and we're going to talk about nutrition. And we're also going to talk about why you can't hate yourself thin, and how your self-talk matters more now than it ever did. We're going to be talking about the whole picture, your health, your mindset, your habits, and how you feel about you. So if you are listening to this in real time, I've got a free workshop series coming up called the Menopause Method. It's the first one in this installment. It might be exactly what you're looking for. Check out the in the show notes to get yourself signed up. It is free. And I know we don't know each other very well yet, but I encourage you to stick with me. I promise you I will give you some eye-opening aha moments when it comes to your health, your mind, your menopause, all of it. Now, episode 2, we are going to be diving into why your body works so differently once you start perimenopause, and it never goes back. I get that question a lot. When will things go back to normal? Your baseline for normal changes once you start perimenopause. I also will, I think I'll just wait and I'll share it all with you then. But I think it is imperative that you take charge of your menopause, and I'm here to help you do that. So thanks so much for listening, and I look forward to having you here the next episode.